When we think about really knowing ourselves, we usually picture this solo journey, right? Like a deep dive into our own thoughts. But what if I told you that whole idea is kind of backward? What if the real path to self-knowledge isn't a monologue at all, but a conversation, one that runs directly through your friendships?
Just think about it for a second. A simple birthday present, some small gesture, what could that possibly tell you about who you are deep down? Well, as it turns out, a whole lot. So, to see what I mean, let's dive into a story about two friends who've known each other forever and a huge realization that came to light only after decades of exchanging gifts. Okay, so meet Cindy and Anne. They're in their 50s now, and they've been friends pretty much their entire lives. And, like a lot of lifelong friends, they have their traditions. And one of them is never, ever missing each other's birthdays.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The difference in their gifts kind of tells the whole story. Cindy's presents were always nice, very practical. Some gourmet popcorn or maybe a sweatshirt from her old college. Anne's gifts, though, they were on another level of personal. She'd find some special book on a topic Cindy was obsessed with at the moment, or she'd even track down old family recipes.
And then one day, it just clicked for Cindy. It wasn't about how much the gifts cost, it was about the thought. She suddenly saw that Anne was paying this incredibly close attention to her life, to her shifting interests, to the person she was actually becoming.
And this is the absolute kicker. See, Cindy had always thought of herself as a thoughtful person. It was a core part of her identity. But when she saw her own gift-giving style right next to Anne's, she saw this massive blind spot. Her friend's actions were literally holding up a mirror, showing her this gap between who she thought she was and how she was actually showing up.
Now, this kind of modern-day aha moment isn't some new thing. Actually, it connects all the way back to one of the greatest thinkers in human history. Yep, we're talking about Aristotle. Over 2,000 years ago, this Greek philosopher was already mapping out this powerful connection. For him, knowing yourself wasn't just some nice little self-help idea, it was the absolute starting point for a good life. Aristotle's big goal for all of us was something he called eudaimonia. Now, it often gets translated as just happiness, but honestly, it's so much deeper than that. Think of it more like flourishing, living well, really reaching your full human potential. And the best part? He believed it was totally within our control. So how do we get there? Well, Aristotle said we need to aim for two specific things to achieve this flourishing life: knowing ourselves and having good friends. And he argued that you simply cannot have one without the other. For Aristotle, happiness is never, ever a solo mission. Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? How can another person possibly be the key to unlocking ourselves? Well, the answer lies in this really powerful analogy. We humans have this amazing ability called metacognition. It's basically our power to think about our own thinking. It's that voice in your head that lets you step back and observe your own feelings and thoughts. It's what makes self-awareness even possible. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. No matter how much we reflect, we're fundamentally stuck inside our own heads. We can never, ever get a truly objective, outside-in view of ourselves. As they say, you can't read the label from inside the bottle. And this is where Aristotle's solution is just so brilliant. A true friend, he said, becomes another self, an alter ego. They act like that mirror we've been talking about, reflecting back to us the parts of our own character, our strengths, and our blind spots that we just are incapable of seeing on our own. But Aristotle was also really, really specific about this. Not just any friendship is going to do the trick. He believed there were different levels, different tiers of connection. He basically broke it down into 3 types. The first 2 are super common. You've got friendships of utility, think of a coworker who helps you out, and friendships of pleasure, like your gym buddy. They're great, for sure, but they're often temporary because they're based on what you get out of it. The third type, though, that's the real deal. The friendship of virtue. This is the one that can last a lifetime. It's not about what you get. It's based on a deep, mutual admiration for each other's character, for who you both are at your very core. This is the friend who holds up the mirror. Okay, so let's pull all these ideas together. What does this ancient wisdom really mean for us today as we're all trying to live a good life? The path to self-knowledge isn't about locking yourself away in a room to meditate. It's an active social journey. When you really engage with a true friend, you get to see yourself from their point of view. And that perspective gives you insights you could never, ever find on your own, pushing you and helping you grow.
So in the end, it really boils down to this. The journey to know your deepest self is completely wrapped up in the journey of knowing someone else. By understanding and admiring the character of a true friend, you get the clearest possible picture of your own.
So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. Who in your life is that other self for you? Who is it that holds up that mirror and helps you see who you really, truly are?